In the dense jungles of the Philippines, long after World War II had ended, a lone Japanese officer continued to fight a war that no longer existed. For nearly 30 years, Hiroo Onoda held his post with unwavering discipline, convinced that surrender was betrayal and that his emperor still needed him. His story is one of extreme loyalty, tragic isolation, and the haunting power of duty taken to its absolute limit. This is the true story of the last soldier of the Empire of Japan. Hiroo Onoda, the Japanese soldier who refused to surrender until 1974, stands as one of the most astonishing figures in modern history. As an intelligence officer in the Imperial Japanese Army, he held his post for nearly 30 years after the war ended. Across the Pacific, countless other Japanese Zanryu Nipponhei, or remaining soldiers, clung to the same conviction that Japan's war still continued. These holdouts were motivated by deep discipline and the rigid honor code of the Imperial Army, believing their duty to the Emperor must be fulfilled even if the world around them changed. Many of these men continued fighting after Japan's surrender in August 1945, either out of unbending loyalty or because they had no reliable way to learn that the war was over. Onoda, trained at the prestigious Nakano Intelligence School, mastered sabotage, survival, and reconnaissance skills that would sustain him through 3 lonely decades. In December 1944, Onoda received his mission orders and was deployed to the small island of Lubang near Luzon in the Philippines, a tropical outpost soon to become his battleground and home. On Lubang, he joined several stranded Japanese troops already hiding there. His commander, Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, ordered him to hold out under any circumstance. "It may take 3 years, it may take 5, but we will return for you. Until then, lead your men and never take your own life." Conflicts with senior officers prevented him from executing key sabotage missions, leaving him frustrated and determined to obey his orders in his own way. His mission was to destroy the enemy's airstrip and pier at the harbor, crippling American operations, a task that quickly became impossible as the tide of war turned. Without his sabotage efforts, the U.S. invasion of Lubang in February 1945 faced little resistance, leading to the rapid capture of the island and scattering its Japanese defenders. After the island fell, surviving Japanese soldiers splintered into small squads of 3 or 4, retreating deep into the dense jungle. Many were hunted down, killed in skirmishes, or eventually surrendered to American and Filipino forces. By mid-1945, only 4 men remained under Onoda's command, Akatsu, Shimada, and Kozuka, setting up hidden shelters in the mountains. There they began a long and isolated campaign that would outlast the empire they served. After Japan's formal surrender in September 1945, Onoda's group found leaflets dropped by local villagers reading "The war ended on August 15th. Come down from the mountain." But their training and suspicion ran deep. They dismissed the message as an Allied trick. Convinced the war still raged on, they began raiding nearby villages for food, tools, and clothing, seeing every local farmer as a potential enemy agent. Even when General Tomoyuki Yamashita's surrender orders were dropped from planes, they remained skeptical. They once again concluded it was deception. With no awareness of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the idea that Japan had surrendered seemed impossible to them. To men like Onoda, the thought that the Empire of Japan had yielded without a final battle was beyond belief. So they vowed to keep fighting their private war, continuing in the jungle shadows. In 1949, after years of hardship, Private Akatsu finally fled the group and surrendered, marking the first crack in their unity. His surrender, confirmed by Filipino troops in 1950, left Onoda and the others distrustful and even more isolated, wary that anyone could betray them. By 1952, Japanese authorities dropped letters and family photographs from planes in a desperate attempt to convince the men the war was truly over. The messages only deepened their distrust. Dressed in tattered imperial uniforms, they saw villagers in modern clothes as allied spies pretending to be civilians. Their paranoia grew with every encounter. When approached, they often fired without hesitation, convinced that every shadow might conceal an enemy. In 1953, Corporal Shimada was badly wounded in a firefight, but Onoda treated his wound with improvised bandages and kept him alive for months. Sadly, on May 7, 1954, Shimada was killed during a clash with a search party after he mistakenly fired at men who had come to rescue him. Only Onoda and Kazuka remained. For another 17 years, they continued to patrol the jungle, gathering intelligence and carrying out raids, still obeying orders for a war that had long ended. On October 19, 1971, their long illusion of duty began to unravel. In 1972, during a confrontation with police, Kazuka was fatally shot while trying to burn a farmer's rice harvest, believing it was an enemy supply cache. His death left Onoda the last soldier still fighting. Lieutenant Onoda was now completely alone, the final survivor of an army that no longer existed. Then on February 20, 1974, a young Japanese adventurer named Norio Suzuki ventured into the jungle and miraculously found Onoda's hidden camp. Even after meeting Suzuki, Onoda refused to surrender to anyone but his original commanding officer. Suzuki promised to find Major Taniguchi and bring him back, beginning a mission of reconciliation. In March 1974, Major Taniguchi, now an elderly man, flew to the Philippines to personally release Onoda from duty, finally fulfilling the promise he had made 3 decades earlier. Wearing his faded patched uniform, Onoda stood tall, saluted the Japanese flag, and handed over his samurai sword, the symbol of his lifelong service. He also turned in his perfectly maintained Arisaka rifle ammunition grenades and the dagger his mother had given him for ritual suicide, now unused and worn by time. The Philippine government, led by President Ferdinand Marcos, granted him a full pardon. Though he had killed 30 civilians during his long campaign, his belief that the war was ongoing was deemed sincere. When Onoda returned to Japan, he became a national celebrity, admired, pitied, and studied as a relic of another era. Yet he found modern Japan unrecognizable, its old values eroded. In 1975, he left for Brazil to raise cattle, later founding youth training schools to teach perseverance and discipline. Reflecting near the end of his life, he said, "Every Japanese soldier was prepared for death, but I was ordered to live. To fail my mission would have been shameful. I am, after all, a very competitive man." Hiroo Onoda wasn't alone. After Japan's surrender in 1945, over 120 Japanese holdouts continued hiding across Asia and the Pacific. Only about 24 ever returned alive. Onoda spent nearly 30 years in the jungle, 10,951 days, during which he and his comrades killed around 30 civilians in raids they believed were wartime operations. He was one of the last 2 holdouts found alive. The very last surrendered just 3 months after him in December 1974. His story is extreme, but it reflects a pattern repeated dozens of times across the former empire.